my favourite joke is about perception, right? Basically, me, my partner, and my best good friend Paul were in a museum together, and we went up to this part of the museum that had no signs, but it just had like a big pile of shoes, and my partner was like, "Oh God, that's fascinating. What do you think it means?" And I was like, well, whenever I see a big pile of shoes, I immediately start feeling sad because it makes me think of the Holocaust. Because I saw it in a book years ago and the image has stuck with me. And my best good friend Paul went, really? Whenever I see a big pile of shoes, I just think of a bouncy castle. I love that way of looking at things. Like, Paul, as I said, right, he's my best good friend, but he's also my show director, right? So me and Paul write jokes together. And since I'm writing jokes of my best friend, sometimes the jokes get really personal, and I'll tell them to an audience, and audiences will look at me and be like, "Are you okay?" But one thing Paul's taught me is no matter how sad or bleak something is, if you put happy music over it, people don't tend to think about the bleakness. They tend to go, "Oh, well, it sounds happy, so I'll try and look on the bright side." So here's all my most personal jokes to this. 2 weeks into lockdown, I thought I'm going to jump out of the window. Then I realised I couldn't because I'd already been out twice that day. I said to my mum about nearly jumping out of a window, and my mum said, "Oh God, I nearly committed suicide once. I nearly hugged myself, but I thought I don't want to be seen dead with a double chin." So I was on a plane on my way down to a funeral, and when I was on the plane I started getting emotional and I was crying, and this lovely old lady 3 people away from me went, "Are you alright, son? You seem upset. Would you like my travel pillows?" And I just looked over at her with tears trickling down my cheeks, and I went, "Don't worry, just wait till I'm asleep and put the pillow over my face." So I started seeing my therapist a few years ago because my ex was cheating on me, and I wasn't handling being cheated on very well. I was wanking over it. And my therapist went, "You're masturbating over your insecurity. You're so afraid of feeling insecure that you're wanking over it." And I said, "Well, thank God I'm not scared of children." According to my therapist, when you're in a relationship, you reenact your childhood. Had to break it to my partner. We're going to be having a threesome with my uncle. So I was in an airport, and it was Abu Dhabi airport, and I was on my way out of the airport, and when I was on my way out, an Abu Dhabi security guard pointed at me and went, "You, come here." Obviously not in my accent, in the Abu Dhabi accent. I'm not going to do the Abu Dhabi accent. Also, it'd be a difficult impersonation to do because we don't really know that much about Abu Dhabi. Like, all we tend to know is it's a corrupt regime and the difference between rich and poor is huge. So I'll just make him English. So the Abu Dhabi security guard pointed at me and went, "You come here."
Hop along, old boy. Gonna search your bags. Don't mind if I do.
And he opened up my suitcase and he took out a bottle of CBD oil. CBD oil, if you don't know, part of a marijuana plant, but it's legal here because it's not the fun bit of the plant. But the way they see it in Abu Dhabi is very different. He went, oh dear. Drugs. And I couldn't deny it was drugs because the label had a picture of a dog wearing sunglasses. And at this point, I'm shitting myself because we also know about Abu Dhabi, not very lenient. And the other thing I thought was like, oh my God, because I felt so embarrassed because I thought of all the things to go to jail for in Abu Dhabi, CBD oil. What made it worse, right? It was vape liquid. So uncool, right? I smoke e-cigarettes and I think I'm a fanny. I'd rather get 50 years for having cigarettes on me that were illegal, because at least it'd be a bit sexy, you know. I think cigarettes are cool, man. You can chat somebody out of a cigarette, you can be like, hey, have you got a lighter? What can you do with an e-cigarette? Do you like the smell of custard? When the Abu Dhabi security guard took the bottle of CBD aside, I'm now thinking, uh-oh, what else is in my suitcase that's illegal? Because I know that that's illegal. I know that I'm illegal. It's the first time in my life I've ever been worried that I packed a twink. And then he took out PrEP pills. Right, PrEP pills, if you don't know, right, a couple of people know what they are, right? PrEP pills are pills that you can take that stop you from contracting HIV. Oh, I love telling straight people. Because they might not say anything, but you can see it in their eyes. They're going, are you telling me the gays defeated God? It's amazing. You feel so arrogant during sex, couple of pills before, looking at the ceiling going, yeah, God, your ill isn't going to work on us anymore. Sorry, Satan, we'll be late. All you need to do is you take 2 pills 1 hour before you have sex, which is a long time to wait in the park, but we're working on that. I find it so weird that people haven't heard about PrEP pills. Like, it's kind of most gay people know about them now, but most of my straight mates only know about like HIV stuff from like films like Philadelphia usually. Like, if you've not seen Philadelphia though, definitely watch it. It's fucking brilliant. It's an amazing film. It's got Tom Hanks in it, so you know it's good. And anything with Tom Hanks, you always think, yeah, safe pair of hands there, yeah. And it's an American courtroom drama, so you know it's good as well. Because if it's American court, it's cool. If it's British court, it's not cool. Like, Americans are so much better at portraying court stuff, like, because they make their lawyers seem really cool. American lawyers can wear cowboy hats, snazzy suits, going up to the jury, being like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think we're going to have to listen to the judge on this one. Above all that, we got to listen to Jesus. Or you can get that young, aggressive lawyer being like, hey, Your Honor, I object. Yeah. And they did that teeth thing Americans do. Yeah. Like, American teeth are so straight and white, it's where their mouth was a Brexit voter. Is nothing like American court, right? Our lawyers, they don't wear cowboy hats, obviously. They wear wigs, which I don't understand anyway, because you're making them look stupid. Surely if you think the person's committed the crime, make them look stupid. Surely we should make them wear a wig. We wouldn't need all this MI5 database stuff. You know what I mean? Like, oh, who's the paedophile in your area? Oh, the guy in the pink afro. And what about the blue afro? Oh, that's the terrorist. Yeah. Much better way of working it. And our lawyers, they don't wear snazzy suits. Our lawyers wear gowns, and they don't even say, Your Honour, right? They say, My Lord. Which makes every crime in UK courts sound as if it was just a wee bit naughty. Oh, my Lord.
Oh, my lord, he murdered everybody. I don't know what we're going to do with him, my lord. May I approach the bench? My lord, if I was you, I'd find the defendant sexy. Sentence him to 10 minutes inside me. Don't worry, you'll only serve 5. Especially for bad behaviour.
I was like, why are you taking my prep pills? And the Abu Dhabi security guard was like,
Oh, well, HIV is illegal in Abu Dhabi.
I was like, first of all, I'm thinking, HIV is illegal in Abu Dhabi. I'm like, who's smuggling AIDS? If there's one thing you just wouldn't hide up your bum. And when he put my prep pills aside, right, I'm thinking, oh, is there anything else in my suitcase? He didn't look for the rest of it. He just went,
Go into that room over there.
so I went into the room,
Over there.
and it was a big, long room with lots of different cubicles in it, but none of the cubicles had toilets in them, just handprints on the wall. You had exactly the same perception I had at that moment. If you go into a room and there's painted handprints on the wall, there's only 2 places you can be. Either bum search area or a nursery. Thank you for laughing at that joke. I generally get really nervous whenever I tell that joke, because the first time I said that joke out loud was to my partner, and his reaction was,
What kind of fucked up nursery did you go to?
but we've all had the same experience, right? In nursery, you put your hand in the paint and then you put it on the wall, yeah? Oh, okay, cool. I'm not mental. Good, okay, cool.
I don't know, maybe it's because he's posh. Like, oh no, we didn't do that in my nursery. No, we did watercolour. It was fantastic.
You can probably tell the difference of our accents, because I come from Scotland and he comes from money. Because I'll try way too hard on dates that I'll do stupid voices to try and make them laugh. And I'll be like, hey, we're back to my house with Kermit the Frog, it'd be really hot. Oh yeah, oh, and Miss Piggy, you'll be there as well. Oh, Miss Piggy will be there. She goes right up, which is hard. Do you know the Muffin Man? On a date though, a guy told me he was a massive Lord of the Rings fan, right? And when he told me that, I was like,
I'll save Gollum for dessert.
And when he said, Larry, I've got to go and get my taxi, instead of going, oh, before you go and get your taxi, if you love Lord of the Rings, you'll probably love Gollum, like Schmeagol. And instead of doing that, though, because that would have been quite cringy, I panicked he was leaving, so I grabbed his hand and led him to his taxi as Gollum. So the last thing he can remember of me, because he blocked me straight after this happened, was me going,
Come with me, master. Stupid fat we need to go get a taxi over now. We do a master to leave us. Precious master, don't abandon your Smeagol.
and halfway through doing it, I looked up at him and I thought, no, he's not finding this funny at all. But you know, I thought it's going to be weirder if I stop halfway through it. Like, too much of a change.
Master, please don't leave. No.
Nice meeting you, man. Let's do this again sometime.
Sorry, I mean. No, sorry, no worries at all. You go pee.
Master, please don't leave. No. No, Master, please. Stupid fat hobbit. Go to the bathroom in order to use the ring.
Double meaning on the word ring.
But sometimes I'll do gigs, right, and I've done quite a few, which they will not be able to comprehend that a gay relationship can have the same dynamic as a straight one. They'll be like, what? A man and a man being the same as a man and a woman? No, which one of you stays in the kitchen all day? Few of those gigs, right, spring to mind, but one in particular, right, because it was, at the time, probably the worst gig I'd ever done. It was about 7 years ago, but it ended up being the best gig I've ever done, right, because I lost all my confidence after it, and I was going to give up comedy, and my agent was like, before you give up comedy, why don't you speak to that nice Irish director loads of people use? And that's how I met my best good friend Paul, because he started directing my shows, and then we became best friends from there. So weirdly, I'm really happy I did a horrendous gig, because I got my best friend out of it. But it was a gig in Halifax in Northern England land, and it was a British Legion gig. Good. You could all book comedy better than the person that booked for that gig. I have no idea why they thought I would be a good shout for that one, right? And I was on stage, right? And I was going all right. And then I started talking about my boyfriend at the time, but I didn't even say, like, anything. It was just kind of relationships jokes. It wasn't anything particularly bummy. And immediately they stopped laughing and just didn't make any noise, almost like a kind of, I better not laugh. Because if I laugh, people are going to start thinking I'm gay as well. So since they weren't laughing, I thought I'll have to change my tactic here. And I pointed at a guy in the front row and went, "You're right, mate, what's your name?" He went, "Mike." And I went, "Hi, I'm Mike. What do you do?" And he goes, "I'm in the Navy." And when he said that, I'm thinking, I better not say the joke I was going to say originally to that. I'll try and move away from it. It was almost like a comedian equivalent of "The floor is lava." It's got so many traps around. And I was like, "Wow, Mike, that's a really interesting job. What made you get into that?" And he goes, "Well, my dad was in the Navy." And I was like, "Oh, great, cool. And what did your other dad work as?" Right? He got fuck all that night. The only laugh was the gremlin in my brain going. After the gig, right, me and the female act left, right? There was a female act on as well. She didn't have a good gig. It tends to be the same thing. If people don't like women, they don't like gay men. You know what I mean? Oh, you know, homophobia, I always think there's a lot of it that is actually just campophobia. It's a fear of femininity. It's like, because you never ever see a homophobe that's a feminist. You know what I mean? You never go, "Oh, I can't stand gay people, but women should be treated with respect." So I waited for her. We walked out after the show, and then Mike was waiting for us to give us some feedback, right? And Mike came up to me afterwards, and he went up to me and he was like, "Oh, he was little, that's why I'm doing that." And he was like, "Listen, mate," and he did, that thing, right? Overcompensation of masculine energy from the neck area, just like, why does nobody take my opinion seriously? People just keep throwing bread at me. listen, mate, I don't mind the gays. And I'm thinking, yeah, of course you don't with your head bob, and you'd be welcome in my community. And he goes, but why do you have to tell us that you're gay, mate? Why are you telling us that you're gay? It's fucking boring, right? And it was basically along those lines, because boring was repeated about 4 or 5 times, right? And I was thinking, I'm not enjoying this conversation in particular, and it's not like I'm ever going to change this guy's mind, so I thought, you know what? I'll just scare him. And I think, as a Glaswegian, right, we've all got a face switch we can do. And that's what I did on him, right? I went, listen, mate, right, I'm not telling you that I'm gay, I'm warning you. The feedback was over pretty pronto at that point. You've probably had the same thing happen yourself, though, right? You know when you're brave in the moment and then afterwards you start getting scared? So that's what happened, right? I was brave enough at the time, and then afterwards I was ruminating about what he'd said, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I am boring. Maybe I am shit. And that's when I started losing all my confidence. But as I say, that's when I got to meet my best good friend, Paul. So it's a really good thing that it happened. Also, the thing is, I don't know if you work with your best friend. The problem is with working with any friend is you don't tend to get much work done. Like, me and Paul will start writing jokes together, and then one of us will do like a Simpsons quote, and the rest of the day is Simpsons quotes to each other, and that's like one of our in-jokes. Like, we always put Simpsons references in my shows. Like, he's directed all of them, and we always put little Simpsons jokes in, even if the audience don't find them funny. But it's because we have to listen to the show back, and we get to go, that's all good. Tom Hanks jokes as well, because we both love Tom Hanks, because we're both human. I know it's really weird telling people about in-jokes with your friends, because usually when you tell someone an in-joke of you and your friends have, they kind of look at you like, hey, yeah, whatever. But in-jokes are the best type of jokes, right? Because in-jokes are the only type of joke that you can have with someone, and they're special for you, and also they help build a friendship or a relationship with that person. And even comedians, right, no matter how experienced the comedian, how funny they are, they can never do as good an in-joke as you can have with your best friend. And I find that really weird, right? Also, comedians try and do it, right? The one example of a comedian trying to do an in-joke is a thing called a callback, right? If you don't know what a callback is, right, basically, what a comedian will do is they'll mention something earlier in the show, and then later call back to it with a joke. And you guys, the audience, right, and that's what we call you in the business, are supposed to hear this in-joke and be like, oh my lord. Yeah, me and Paul have actually always wanted to do a call forward, which the opposite of a call back, right? So the funny bit comes first, but there's no meaning for it. And then later you give it some context, just so people get to go, why did you make life difficult for yourself? That was pointless. But it's just because the perception and changing it is quite fun. But yeah, I know it's weird me telling about me and my best friends in-jokes, but I think the only time it's easy to tell someone an in-joke is when it's a nickname, because that's set up like a joke, because you get to go, this person's this, called this because of this. So it's like set up punchline. Like, I've got nicknames myself. My nickname is Larry, because my real name is actually Lawrence. Yeah, I know. I didn't want to call myself Lawrence Dean because I didn't want people knowing I was gay before I got on the stage. And I says this to my pals, right? And my pals were like, oh, cool. And now they all call me Gary, short for Gay Larry. It's not the best nickname though, right? My group of mates, right, one of them's called Rachel, and Rachel's nickname is Doorbell because she's got no knockers. But that's the kind of banter you have with your friends. If you love your friends, you can slag them off a bit and they don't mind because they know your intentions are good. Me and my partner, we don't do nicknames. No, we just do arguments. And you were busting? That's alright, man. That's okay. Don't worry. We've all got bladders and stuff. You feel much better? Oh, that's good. You can relax. Oh, no, that's cool. Were you not relaxed before? Did I make you nervous? Did I really make you nervous? There's nothing to be nervous about. Honestly, man. There's a what? There's a hole in my jeans. Oh, you fucking dick, you got me. Careful. One of the arguments we had was because I farted when we were in bed. Right, and before you think I'm a monster, when I was farting, I had the cover up. Right, I put the cover up, scooched my bum out the side of the bed. Right, I could have farted out the window or something, but I'm not allowed near them anymore. And when I was farting, I was wafting it away, right? And he went, Larry, are you... You know that kind of Glasgow, when there's someone's posh and they're from Glasgow, for some reason they don't really have muscles or bones or... No, I can't go to Morrison's today, it's too windy. Larry, are you farting? He did that whenever he was given instructions, and I actually bought my boyfriend Viagra for Christmas just to stiffen his wrist. Larry, are you farting over there? I was like, aye, but don't worry about it, it's not under the covers. No, Larry, that's disgusting. If you're going to fart in the corner. Over there. Are you mental? Can any of you imagine anything more terrifying than waking up in the middle of the night and just seeing your partner just standing in the corner? Farting and staring at you. I'm doing this because of how much I love you, darling. I mean, you'd have to face them, right? You couldn't do it that way. I mean, it's like this scene from the Blair Witch Project. Definitely have to face them. I think the only problem with facing though is like years later, that corner of the room would look like a smoker's wallpaper. Been as attracted to my partner as I am now, and oh, thank you, and because we broke up 6 months ago, and now he's unattainable. Oh, you don't like me anymore? Oh, you're my favourite. But it's for the best, right? It's for the best. It's for the best, and he loves the freezer. It's for the best. Breakups are weird, right? Because there's that moment that you have to realise because after a breakup, you have so many things you're thinking and you're feeling and all that stuff. And then after a while, you get to go, oh, it was for the best. You know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily mean for all breakups. But this one was, right? Because my brain and my heart were having an argument, right? Because my brain was like, okay, guys, we've had a breakup. We need to figure out where we went wrong and what was their fault, what was our fault. And we need to learn from this because we've got to keep ourselves safe now, guys, yeah? And my heart was like, oh my God, whatever. I am broken again. And my dick overheard this conversation. And every man's dick, no matter what his confidence level is a gangster.
Hey, balls, come listen to this shit. I overheard the brain talking to the heart. Apparently they've got a breakup on the go. Come on! I know what it means when we've got a breakup. That means the ex-boyfriend is now having sex with other people. That sounds hot. Is there any questions? Thank you. I'm going to talk about cuckolding now. And I'm going to make you guys watch. Cuckolding, if you don't know, I can see people looking at me going, uh-oh. I better not laugh, because if I laugh, people are going to start thinking I cuckold as well. Alright, cuckolding, if you don't know, is when you find it hot watching your partner having sex with somebody else. It's quite an odd psychological thing, because you're literally watching the worst case scenario pan out in front of you, and your response is just to wank. It's quite a common theme through my life, if I'm completely honest. It's usually why I spend the first 5 minutes of a funeral in the toilet. Okay. Fair enough, fair enough. But it's true, right? It's such a weird thing, right? I get that people might be judging me, and you shouldn't actually. It's actually really common, right? I know none of you know what cuckolding is, but it's really common, right? Get this statistic. I swear this is 100% true, right? Cuckolding is actually the #1 Google search on my laptop. But I'm seeing a therapist about it, and yeah, she's blunt. She's like, you know what your problem is? You're not feeling your feelings. You're just feeling insecurity, and you're masturbating to cover up the insecurity. I'm like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Everybody wins. Because she's saying that I'm basically avoiding my real feelings and I'm disassociating. I think disassociation is great, right? Because first of all, you can either wank or you can joke about feelings. That's what I usually do, joking. And she was like, no joking about your feelings, Larry. You gotta feel them. And she's Northern Irish, by the way. I know it's not a great Northern Irish accent. And it's just weird having a Northern Irish therapist, because I'm having to tell a Northern Irish person about my troubles. But the thing is, see, when it comes to doing jokes about your feelings, it gets frowned upon, but I think jokes are great, because see, you can actually learn a lot about someone by the jokes they tell, and if you can actually learn from jokes as well. Like when you look at a joke closely, because me and Paul will write jokes together about personal stuff, and I'm like, hey, I get to have a laugh about it, and so do the audience, and they get to go, oh yeah, I do that as well, actually, yeah. And I said this to my therapist, and she's now starting telling me jokes, because I find it easier to understand a joke than I do my actual feelings, and I'm learning a lot from it. She told me this belter, right? You can always tell your dog loves you more than your partner, because if you put your dog and your partner in the boot of a car together, leave them overnight, open the boot in the morning, which one of them is happier to see you? When I heard that, my brain was going, that's a funny joke, we need to remember that, guys, that's great. And my heart was going, I was going to go away on holiday for the breakup. I'm that fanny of a friend, you know, the one that's like, oh, I don't need him anymore. What I need is to pack my bags and go over and rediscover myself on top of a mountain, and then come back to Glasgow with no money and all the exact same problems waiting for me when I get home. Because I wanted to go to America, right? That's where I went on my last breakup. I went to America because with a Scottish accent, they make you feel special. I was in California and I went to do Pilates every day, right, because I wanted to get fit. And the second day I got there, right, to the Pilates studio, the lady behind the reception came out to me, physically, and she was like... she was like, "Hey, Larry, thanks for coming in again today. Ooh, 5 minutes early, second day in a row. Good job. I have a query." And I was like, "You're not allowed to call me that anymore." She was like, "I have a query. The ladies in the class before you heard that there's a Scottish guy coming in again today, and they've freaked out. Would you mind saying hi to them? They're of an older generation and they've never met someone from Scotland before. They're actually so excited they've missed the bus the old people's home just to say hi." And my head and my heart are having another argument at this point because my heart is going, "Oh my God, old people, I love old people." And my brain is going, "Fuck. I've got to represent Scotland here. I don't think I'm the Scotland that these people are after. They don't want train spot in Scotland. They want groundskeeper Willie Scotland." So I went, "Oh, yeah, I'd love to meet these ladies," right? And the lady behind the ship was like, "Oh my God, that's so exciting. Okay, well, just wait there. I'm going to go grab my camera, thanks." And she just glided out of the way. And I just saw like 8 old ladies waiting to talk to me. And I went, "Hello." It's like a sim, like, "Shno, shno." And when I says hello, right, they all turned into, like, you know in Toy Story, the wee green aliens? Because when I says hello, they all went, "Oh. Stranger from the outside, tell us about your planet." Oh yeah, by the way, when I said Groundskeeper Willie is my favourite Simpsons character. And Toy Story with the wee green aliens, Toy Story is my favourite Tom Hanks film. I'm just letting you know where all the in-jokes are. My therapist was like, "Don't go to America." I was like, "Fuck, what do I do?" She was like, "Work on yourself." I know I'm making her sound more aggressive than she is, but my therapist gets proper angry with me. Like, she genuinely hit herself in the head because I was not sticking to a topic and not feeling my feelings. She went, "For God's sake, Larry, stick to one story at a time." I went, "Did you just hit yourself in the head?" She went, "I only hit myself because I'm not allowed to hit you." So when I was in Abu Dhabi... Sorry, I get easily distracted. I've got ADHD. I was diagnosed this year via Facebook status. It's the ADHD or OCD. Maybe I'm just dyslexic. All I know is I've got a free laptop. Although actually, the thing with ADHD is my ex said to me that he thought I should get an autism test. I know, it was like, "An autism test?" I was like, "No, I'm going to get 2 autism tests because I like even numbers, remember?" Loads of people are getting diagnosed now with autism and ADHD and stuff. Like, well, have you seen it? Well, usually it's via TikTok. Because if you've not seen these videos, there's videos on TikTok of people dancing next to symptoms of serious conditions. And you have to decide if you've got it, right? And it's 60 seconds, and the symptoms are very vague. Do you find it difficult to concentrate when doing boring tasks? Ding. Have you watched your favourite film more than once? Ding. Do you hate Mondays? You've got liver failure. It could be ADHD. It could be autism as well. I don't know. Maybe I don't think I'm autistic. I just really want to fuck a train. What's the big deal? That's a joke. Okay. You already know as well, from what I've already told you, I wouldn't want to fuck a train. I'd want to watch a train. Fuck my boyfriend. Choo-choo. Okay, right, okay, I'll continue. And, sorry. My community's affliction, and the ADHD community, not the LGBT community. Fucking hell, I'm riddled, right? Oh, what are you, Larry? Oh, I'm ADHD LGBT. So I identify as an eye exam. And when it comes to the ADHD thing as well, I don't know, maybe it's because like the stuff I've got to like... Right, basically, okay, I'm making this all up as I go along. That's why I come across I've got ADHD. I'm thinking, right, I'm not even Scottish. I'm not gay either. Farting in the corner, I've never done that. I live in a lighthouse. There's a lighthouses round. I was in the Abu Dhabi security bit, right, and I had my hands up on the handprints, and this was a moment that I probably was disassociating, because I remember, obviously being in that situation, I was looking at my handprint, and I was thinking, okay, if they go up my bum here, what I'll do is I'll lower one of my hands slowly, and I'll just think about the scene in Titanic when they're having sex in the car. And I was really nervous about this bum search, right? Because I thought of all the bum searches I could ever get, this would be the most painful one, because it's an Abu Dhabi bum search. Because I've got terrible women's rights, terrible gay rights. They'll have the worst lube in the world. They wouldn't have anal lube, I mean, that's for sure. If you haven't heard of anal lube, highly recommend it, it's amazing. Right, so, honestly, anal lube is so good. I'm convinced if I slathered my car in anal lube, I could park it in my cupboard. So, and I'm there waiting for this bum search, just looking at one hand, and I'm thinking, no, just look at the hand, look at the hand. And they just patted me down. They didn't even lower my trousers, so I should have known there wasn't really going to be a bum search if they didn't lower my trousers. They just patted me all the way down, and when they patted me down, they said, please turn around, sir. And I turned around, and the Abu Dhabi security guard said, right, that's a search over. Go into the office and sit down and don't say a word. So I went to the office and I sat down and didn't say a word. And two security guards then came into the office and sat at the other side of a desk, and I'm at the other side on this kind of long couch thing, and they started typing stuff out on the computer, right? I did say something at this point because I needed to know what was going on, and I went, what's happening here, right? And the security guard looked at me and then went back to writing out what he was putting, and I'm thinking, fuck, I'm going to jail here. They can't even say it to me. This is going to be terrible. And I thought, well, I need to let people know that I'm here, right? And I thought, I've got a few options here. Either I could text my boyfriend at the time, he might know a good lawyer, or I could text Paul and he'll make me laugh, or I could text my mum and dad and they'll get really stressed. So I text Paul because I thought, I just want to have a laugh. And that's the best option in order to have a laugh. So I text Paul and I said, hey man, I'm in Abu Dhabi airport at the moment. I've been detained by the police for smuggling drugs, and two security guards nearly went up my bum. Paul replied with, I hope you repaid the favour. And I said, I don't think I could handle two at once. And then Paul sent me a picture of, there's a bit in The Simpsons when Homer gets his hand stuck in two vending machines. So I'm looking at my phone and I'm laughing my head off. I must have looked like the most arrogant prisoner these security guards have ever seen me, just being like, yeah, whatever, yeah, 20, 30 years, whatever, this meme is worth it. And you probably know what the end of this story is, right? Because I'm obviously not in Abu Dhabi prison at the moment. They let me go, right? I hope none of you are sitting there going, oh, I wonder if he gets killed at the end. Apparently he goes to jail in Abu Dhabi for 40 years and he comes back and finishes the show later. But they basically, what's it called? I had to sign a thing, right? But it was all in Arabic, so I didn't know what I was signing. But the security guards went, "Sir, if you sign that, you can leave." And I was like, "Leave? Love that word." And I signed my name, and he said, "Oh, so we need your fingerprints." I put my thumbprint down as well, and I gave them that. And I found out off people later of what I had signed was an admission of guilt. So basically, I've admitted to smuggling drugs into Abu Dhabi, and my punishment is I'm no longer allowed to smuggle drugs into Abu Dhabi. Their law system is very fair, to be honest. I don't think I'll be going back anytime soon. I'm going to go to Qatar or somewhere nicer like that. I was freaking out at points, but I was brave enough, right? I wasn't completely freaked out. But then after that happened, weeks later, I started ruminating about it again, and I hated that story because I was thinking, oh God, what if that happens again? What if I get arrested? Or what, my life could be completely changed, or it'll be over. And I just started freaking out about it more, and I hated the story. Fucking despised it, and now my perception's changed again, right? Because I love the story. It's one of my favourites. Because last year, my best good friend Paul died, and thank you. And well, you know, it's a weird thing. If you ever have death close to you, the only control you get over it is you just try and remember absolutely everything, because you're like, I need all these memories, so I'll never forget them. And that story doesn't feel like, oh, that was me scared in Abu Dhabi, I could have gone to jail for 30 years. It now just feels like, oh, there's another example of my best good friend Paul making me piss myself laughing despite the unlikely subject it was surrounding. And death's such a weird thing, right? Because obviously you try and control it a bit by remembering things, but everyone always says to you, they always go, oh, your perception changes when somebody dies. And it's like, it doesn't change about... It changes about things, but it doesn't change about them. Because like Paul's still my best good friend, and just because he's not going to see me do gigs on stage, we're not going to write jokes together anymore, it doesn't mean I'm not going to do the in-jokes, because I like doing the in-jokes because it makes me go, he'd have found that funny, or he'd have liked that. And see, when someone gives you confidence, like, that was something he was amazing at doing. If you've got someone in your life, by the way, that gives you confidence, fucking hold on to them for dear life, because people that give you confidence are so rare. Such a rare trait, man. Like, I think a lot of people want to be good at it. I think we should all aspire to be good at giving other people confidence. But fucking hell, like, it's a rare thing. And the only thing you can ever do in return for that person that gives you that is try and make them proud. And I was so worried, by the way, right? I was so worried I'd let Paul down. I arrived at Paul's funeral with my suitcase in one hand, my tear-soaked travel pillow I got from that lovely old lady in the other. And just before the funeral started, Paul's brother said to me, "Are you still okay to do the eulogy?" I had no idea I was supposed to do the eulogy, right? And I was already feeling uncomfortable at this point because I hate people talking to me when I'm on the toilet. And I said to him, I said, I can't do it, right? Because it was the one time in my life I was actually feeling my feelings at the moment, right? Because joking aside, right, I couldn't obviously wank about what was happening. But also I couldn't do my usual thing. I couldn't joke about it because jokes felt really lonely without my best friend to laugh at them with me. So I said to his brother, I said, I'm so sorry, I can't do it. And I'm thinking, what would I have done if I had done the eulogy? I thought I probably would have talked about the time I was in Abu Dhabi and Paul managed to make me laugh despite that scenario I was in, or about how I nearly gave up comedy and Paul was the one who stopped me from doing it and he did his amazing gift of giving someone else confidence. Or I would have told him about the time I was in the museum with Paul and we saw the big pile of shoes. And my perception was so dark, but Paul's was so typically Paul, of he managed to see something funny and something really lovely and beautiful. And that's if I had months to prepare it, by the way. Not if I had 5 minutes. And, thank you. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you, guys. I mean, that's if I had months to prepare the eulogy, right? 5 minutes notice, I think I would have gone on and done an in-joke and made everybody feel even more uncomfortable. Be like, oh, it's terrible, Paul died at such a young age. He never got to live out his dream of becoming a shrimp boat captain. Paul's funeral was genuinely the saddest but the funniest funeral I could ever imagine going to, right? Because Paul organised it himself, right? Because Paul knew he was dying, he had all the symptoms, he was watching his favourite film more than once, and hated Mondays as well, man. Just couldn't stand it. But when Paul's coffin was about to go into the cremation chamber, everyone's bawling their eyes out crying, right? But Paul got them to play Disco Inferno. So the whole room went from crying their eyes out to laughing their head off. And I'm sat there in one of the bleakest situations I've ever been in, listening to Disco Inferno. And I thought, isn't it weird how happy music can cover up a really sad situation? Thank you very much. Thank you. And that meant that me and Paul finally got to write a call forward together. Thank you so much. People do come up to me afterwards and they go, "Are you okay?" And the one thing I've learned this year more than anything is I've got to be the one that looks for the bouncy castle now. Folks, one more thing before I go, if that's all right. Thank you. Folks, you've been absolutely lovely, and I want to say that I'm Larry Dean, and that is Paul Byrne.
Give me your presents, build up into the sun to get into